Hey, join me and continue to model my 3D dagger. Alright, so we're coming in hot. As you can see, did decide to do the prickly and lightning bolt-ish shaped blade from what I was discussing in the first video, in the blocking. And yeah, this part right here, I'm just, never mind the cycle that's very loud. Yeah, as you can see there, I'm just adding some edge loops, trying to make the general sideways displacements to make the blade look prickly and evil, and overall match the theme from the guard to the blade itself. And yeah, this is just adding edge loops, moving side to side, trying to make that lightning bolt prickly, hard angly shape. And there I'm just adjusting the tip, making sure it's centered and making sure that it's structurally sound so that it wouldn't break in contact. There I'm just shortening the inside of the blade. It doesn't need to be that deep within the handle. And there I am adding the middle edge loop to make the height at the middle of the blade from the reference itself. You can see down in there in the left. I am adjusting it very gradually so that it looks natural. That little extrusion in the middle, so that I'm making that loop hard edge so that it looks hard and very heavily marked in the surface of the object. And that's it for it, I think. Yeah, there I'm testing it with the render so that it looks like I wanted it to, and yes, it does. Look at that. And now we're going to be adjusting some of the medallion shape. I realized there was some vertices that were not aligned, especially in the edges and the in the body itself of the medallion. So yeah, some quick adjustment there. Also the faces, I wanted to bevel them so that it has like this little detail in the edges. There I tried to do something with the moon medallion. Never mind, I just Ctrl-C'd everything. And here I'm starting to implement what's going to be also a common theme in the dagger, which is this little intrusions to have later some engravings. I'm going to be modeling some engravings in them, and we're going to be doing that probably in the next part of this process. There I'm starting to work with the handle. The handle itself was something I kind of struggled a bit, especially to figure out workflow wise how I wanted to do it. I always knew I wanted to do some handle like the one in the bottom left, that was like very hard, easy to grab, very, what's the word, ergodynamic, there you go. That's the word I was looking for. So I wanted to have this like little cylinders extruding out of the shape, but as you can see I am fumbling quite a bit with how I wanted to solve it. First I wanted to make a duplicate of the handle I had, and yeah, I'm just adjusting the shape there. This is going to be a little bit of a dull lull in the video. I am struggling, but as I said, I do want to be transparent with you guys. I'm not going to cut away any section of where I'm struggling or anything. Everything's going to be 100% documented in this video, even if it's at 700% speed. There, as you can see, I did make a very highly subdivided version of this that I'm going to be extruding outwards to get those cylinders. That I, in the end, decided is going to be a sort of floater, like a floater on top of the handle. As you can see, this first clip is going to be ending soon. I did do this in 2 sessions. One, I think it was Thursday, and the final one on Friday. And yeah, there I'm just adjusting again the shape of the medallion, the pommel. Yeah, so here more, fiddling with the shape, the handle, how I wanted the bottom model of the handle to interact with the floater, the one that's going to be like sitting on top of it. This one is the one that's going to be subdivided so that it gets this smooth shape, but I realized since it was going to be smooth that the surface needed some adjusting so that it actually didn't interfere with the lower model, the model below it, I mean. And yeah, so this is more adjusting the shapes. I told you this is going to be a little bit of a lull in the progress, but as I said, this was something I struggled a bit with in deciding how I wanted to do it. I promise you this is almost done. There I'm just, as you can see, beveling some of the edges of how the handle enters in the crossguard and how it enters in the pommel at the top. And yeah, I think this is where I started working on Friday, and I solved the handle pretty much. Now I'm gonna be interacting with the crossguard. I'm gonna be modeling the final details in the crossguard, and as you can see, I wanted to mess around with the shape of the bottom of the guard, where it begins to, as I said it in the last video, to hug the blade, how it protects the insertion of the blade into it. And I extruded some of it outwards, and there I am quite messing a little bit with the bottom of the shape. This is also going to be a little bit of a meandering part of the time lapse. I was, as I said, on the fly improvising this. This project is by definition, by conception, a freestyling. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of my iteration, of my brainstorming, of my work that I probably didn't keep in many cases in the final project, but transparency. I wanted to show you guys everything. There, as you can see, I settled on extruding some of the edges of the layers of the guard coming down to the blade, and I think I'm almost done there. Yeah, there was a point where I started to delete the other half so that I can more easily get the look I wanted with symmetry and later mirroring. That's much more like it, I think. I am very much closer. There, as you can see, I am matching some of the more hard edges from the blade into the wings of the crossguard. As I said, as you can see, this is very iterative, very improvisational, but yeah, you can see, fumble a bit with the blade and the shapes of the edges and all of that. There I am finally mirroring, making sure the tip looks, pointy, and there you go. Just checking the shading of the model, and here, I realized I could also use that theme I said from the pommel and use it in the rest of the blade. This is where I start to really making it a thing in this model. Those little intrusions with beveled edges. There you go. Now here I realized there was some vertices. I think it's vertices. In the last video I said vertices, but I think both are correct. And yeah, some of the nuances I mentioned earlier in the last video, I remember I did mention these quirks with mirroring, and there you go. That's the floater, that's the model. Here I'm gonna be adjusting some of the bevels, and there will be a point, I think quite soon, there where I'm gonna be doing something with the middle of the crossguard. There you can see I'm starting to move the edges around, and there, a big wide circle right in the middle. As you can see, this is gonna be a very prominent feature at the end of the model, and I struggled a bit to figure out how I wanted the loops to be distributed, how many faces I wanted the circle to have. I settled with 12, I think, if I'm not mistaken. As I record this, I settled with 12 faces, and there I am, fiddling with the shape, with the depth, with how I wanted to soothe the vertices, the faces, all that jazz of having proper topology in your model. This is me trying to figure it out. As you can see, I I had various tries. I deleted many attempts at settling on something. There I am aligning the circle. As you can see, I think this is the good attempt. I think that this is the attempt where I finally figured it out, didn't I? Yes, because I had the I wanted the loop to, loop around the circle so that I could have, there you go, an extra loop of circleness. Circleness, I think that's the word. As you can see, adjusting the shading, deleting some of the mirrored extra vertices. I hate when it happens. If you know how to properly avoid that from happening, do tell me, because it's quite annoying. And there you go. There you can see where my idea with this is going. I wanted an extrusion to really cement, like, to make the I'm gonna be putting the moon motif in this part of the crossguard as well as in the medallion, so I really wanted to pop it out to make it really prominent within the model. So there you go, extruded the loop. I'm adjusting the rotation on the faces because I don't want it to be like perfectly horizontal, since that side of the guard is not like vertically aligned with the world. It's got a bit of an incline. And there you can see, I think I'm finally done fiddling with symmetry. More vertices, I hate it. Do help me with that. That would help me save a lot of time, really. And there, since I've mirrored it backwards, I'm adjusting the the cylinders with the circularize tool to make it fully cylindrical. And there you go. There's the moon in the guard, the moon motif in the guard. And here I wanted to have something else with the moon. As you can see, just the half moon leaves a meaningful space at the top left of the medallion of the what would be the sigil of the kingdom that made this dagger, which is Caynfurt. Do check on my portfolio, Willem's Quest, to know the lore. It is an original fantasy world. Caynfurt is one of the realms. And yeah, I'm gonna be making this the Caynfurtian Ceremonial Dagger or something like that. It's a working name still, but yeah, this is gonna be sort of the sigil, the emblem of the kingdom, the half moon with what is it's at least intended to be like a comet or a meteor soaring, like flying across the moon, something like that, There I'm adjusting it to the medallion at the pommel, and there you go. Doesn't it look fancy already? There I'm just merging it and mirroring at the back now that I was satisfied with the shape. There, then again, fiddling with the point to make it look pointy. And soon I'm gonna be adding more, or I should say catching up the provisional materials with everything I just modeled. There you can see I'm selecting the faces that they're gonna be gold. I want the gold to pop, of course, and it's mostly for the details I did, like the extrusions. There I do another extrusion that's more close to the edge of the guard, of the cross guard, and then again the motif of the intrusion with the beveled edges. Of course, we love consistency. And yeah, I added some loop just to have the faces at the very tip be golden. That's obviously gonna be deleted later, it's not really needed. And there, for the blade, this is a little detail you probably noticed quite early in the thumbnail. I wanted to have like a path of what could be assumed to be blood in the tip, running from the top to the tip of the blade. There I am adding some leather materials to the floater of the handle to make it look, like an ergonomic handle, something you could really grasp onto when you're holding it and trusting it into someone's back or something. But yeah, also some variation of a black. And yeah, just sketching out the materials in the handle, the pommel. But yeah, as you can see, the handle now has two colors, two variations of leather. And I also created a new material for the blade to have a different material, different tone of steel from the other dark steel that the blade itself is made of. And yep, there we go. this is it. We're now gonna be using the renders. For time for me to tell you guys that I'm sorry for delaying in uploading this. I had a busy week doing shorts. Bayern München is making history. I had to talk about it. I'm sorry. I needed to cover that. And yeah, this project is likely gonna gain traction now. The part 2 of the modeling is likely gonna be modeling and placing the engravements of, you know, all the places I left in the intrusions, and UVs, the UVing part of this project. It's gonna be interesting. You all know UVs are great. Everyone loves to do UVs, and that's gonna be final modeling part 2, or however I ended up titling this second part of the video. Part 3, well, technically part 4 of this whole series is gonna be texturing. I don't think I'm gonna be sculpting in ZBrush. I likely will skip that. I'm gonna go straight into Substance Painter, and well, the final part is gonna be setting up proper, or you know, more complex renders. I hope you like it, guys, and see you in the next time. Do remember to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, ArtStation, and well, that's pretty much it. Thank you, lads. Bye bye.